Alright, play a few more games. But a lot of the same stuff here will apply between... I will just play another Caracan. A lot of the same stuff will apply between this rating range and 1500. Just be taking more energy not to blunder. And then at some stage I will have to think about stuff more. Alright, here I'm going to take... a lot of the lines so far, like I've been saying, I mostly just take... This is the same thing, I believe, so far. Very similar to the opening we had a little while ago, actually. So I'm going to play the same thing, even though I know... And this is why reviewing games is also important, because like I know that the computer did not think this was the best move at 1 in 97. So we could learn from our mistakes, or we could play the same thing and see how this opponent who's slightly higher rated than the other guy will play it. So I think we'll do this in the other person. And this person does not do the exact same thing. The other person went bishop e2, then I went 97, then they went h3, and then I took. So in this case, this is going to be slightly damaged straight away. It does, however, leave them with the bishop pair. Now, this is likely to be one of their moves. I guess there's some considerations here, but I think before we overly think about this position, we're going to go 97 and just castle. They do have the bishop pair, so we need to be a little bit careful, a little bit cautious. How new is this account? Okay, this is an old account, so probably don't have to be as concerned, but sometimes the old accounts have lost rating, and got to assume they're stronger than their existing ratings here. This pawn is doing a good job at preventing this knight from getting in. They may have to push this at some stage to try to come in this way. I wouldn't go knight f6 right away, probably. I think I'll just castle. I don't see any reason why not to castle right away. So this is definitely a little bit better for black in my opinion. They might be considering this. Okay, so I blunder a pawn immediately. Which is why you want a long castle when you can, like when it lines up with the king. So normally I don't want to move more than, the piece more than once in the opening, but here I think it makes sense, although they actually go there and it's not really winning the pawn. So that's a consideration. We don't need to move too quickly because after king e2, it's actually not winning the pawn, which I thought it was. To me, what makes more sense is probably just continuing slowly. So yes, actually it's almost a forced move because they either have this move or this move. I don't think they're going to go there. But let me see, is there anything after this? So like 95, king e2. Potentially there's this move, but I don't see it being necessary. We might start with e5. If they push, we might go c6. There is also this. No, I think we're going to start with, sorry, not c6, f6. I think we're going to start with f6 for a few reasons. We'll see. So they can probably actually get away with taking this if I'm not careful. I might just scooch over, but then they're going to castle. So I think right now, while I have the chance, I should probably just move this knight and force them to move their king. And I think I will do that. And after this, king e2, I can probably go here. And if they decide to take this, maybe I take this, but I don't think that's good for me. I'm going to also go like this. After this check. No, that's not good. So let's just do this. I don't think this is the greatest move, but it does force the king to move and not be able to castle, which maybe it's not even the right idea for me. Some ideas you always want to be careful about here is with this check, of course. I don't think I mind if they take this. I do quite desperately need to start getting my pieces out, but and you might be considering e5, but I don't like e5 as much because after this happens, possibly I might have this check. So this temporarily, at least, makes me not have to be as concerned about this move. All right, here I will actually likely trade, only because it can't be recaptured with the rook. And I don't really like having to bring my king in that way, so I think I will trade right now. I'm going to play a little quicker. They are playing relatively quick. We're going to slowly bring the pieces in. That's what we're going to do. I don't see any reason not to. The reason I'm bringing the knight in first is because bishop, I didn't see an amazing square yet. Here I might consider bringing the piece around this way. Perhaps if I get both knights around here, should also be good. Okay, and moving the same piece twice, but all right. If I go here, not sure. Here I might actually go there at some stage. Try to get rid of this first. No, you know what? I think I'm going to slowly bring the pieces in once again. So I don't recommend, and I usually say it's better not to move the same piece more than once. However, they spend a few moves getting their king to look like it's castle, but it's not really necessary here. And on top of that, I didn't necessarily know where I wanted to put my bishop yet. And the rook as well, kind of same thing. Like, I didn't want to move the bishop yet because of this potentially being blundered. They might have had ideas of trying to win the rook if I went there to protect the pawn. I'm likely just going to go here. Just try to threaten this. But I don't need to do that. I might actually just move back and play it slowly. But I've officially moved that knight like 5 times, so sure, computer's gonna have some disagreements with me here. All right, what are they doing when they're doing this? They're probably thinking of two things. One, bringing the rook over here, and the other idea is probably bringing this over there. This person's definitely playing quite well. I'm gonna be a little bit careful here. I might just move this pawn for a few reasons. One, if they ever go here, I can push and take it, and I'll be okay. And two, I didn't want to blunder this pawn, because the rook was attacking it if I decide to move this bishop. Now, what do I want to do? I think I will probably push this anyway, now that I think about it. They might have this, though. I'm going to start with this move. Simply just saying that after this happens, if it happens, that if they go there, I can take. They're definitely better for white, I think. Well, not better for white, but definitely better considering they're up 4 minutes. I don't think I'd play this guy yet. I am going to check because I'm curious if they've previously had a higher rating than this because of the way they're playing it. Oh, so they're down a couple hundred elos, so they probably have been close to like 1,000 before, so I gotta be careful. No, their best all-time, sorry, not blitz, their best rapid is, what's their best? Highest rating, over 1,000, so I knew I had to be careful. Did I just hear a noise or am I tripping? Thought I just heard a noise. Don't know what it was. All right. How did I get 600? I got 600 because it was just saying because my other account's like 2,200. So they kind of give me this pawn push. I am 600 because I am on a slow run account. All right, so they give me this move. So this is unfortunately probably the first time I think in this game where they've played something I don't consider to be correct. Because now this is a bit clarified. Not as worried about it. I might start getting some moves myself. Does this do anything? Not super. I might even actually just take this. I think I can take it in attempt to win a pawn. Go here first, maybe. You know what? Let's play it for the endgame. Probably not ideal, because now they have the bishop pair. But I will try to damage the structure. I'm just going to simply try to win this at some stage. Anywho. And I might even go, like this. We'll see. I may bring this around at some stage. I wouldn't do it yet. They're taking their time to think. Probably this will be my next move. Maybe not. Thing is, they can actually try to get the bishop there too. I still misplay this a little bit. Better for white, actually. I'm kind of sure it's better for white. If they take with the pawn, can I go knight f6 to try to bring in the pieces this way? Not really, because they're going to go there. So I need to probably start by just bringing the rook in somehow. I think maybe over here would be okay. It is, once again, I think, not good for me. Question is, are they going to be able to play this correctly? We'll see. Yeah, so not super happy with the position here, but it is equal. And now we're going to have to see how I would attempt to play against the bishop here when I'm down 4 minutes on the clock. So, see what happens. The reasons why I don't mind this position so much are the following. They have the bishop pair. However, their pieces are not necessarily super coordinated here, and also their pawn structure. 2, 1, 2, 1. Seems like it should be okay. They do immediately blunder either a pawn or they allow me to trade something down. So I think this is fine for me. So I think this is a bit of a blunder by them. So they have to move the rook back to protect against the bishop, honestly, being taken. It will fix their pawn structure a bit, but that bishop is one of the main threats here, I think, I have to deal with. So we shall see. Tripping for sure. Yeah, probably raids. The amount of sleep I've had lately. Surprised I'm not hallucinating already. Alright. Now, if everything gets traded off as well, this is probably not a hard win. Oh, it's interesting though. I have some ideas. So I don't actually have to take that bishop if I don't want to. I have other ideas. But you know what? For sake of simplicity, not ideal. They will take with the pawn, I believe. No, maybe I don't want to do that. It's just I know that there's always some ideas of this. Ideas of this, maybe. I'm going to bring the other knight in. No, I'm not going to. I'm simply going to take. Because if they take with the pawn, whatever. Make something work. If they take with the rook, I'll probably just consider trading it. And just argue that their pawn structure will be enough for me to win this. Some considerations are I have 3 pawns on light squares. They have a light square bishop. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to bring the knight in. I'm going to attempt to win this guy at some stage. I think probably it'll be successful, but already you can see I am winning a pawn. So they cannot stop me from taking this pawn. And this is why it's useful to kind of look at pawn structure when you are trading pieces, because it does make quite a big difference. This I would say is probably just winning for black now. You know, even if this happened and I let them take the knight, it would be even more winning because we have this 3-on-1 over here. I think it would be very hard for them to stop. I'd have to make some serious blunders here. It's, you know, definitely a completely winning endgame. Unless I made some, like, incredibly serious mistakes. Okay, I'm going to, once again, play this quite slow. Maybe not the best move, but I don't see it as a bad move, so I'm just going to bring the knight to a very nice square. Also threatening a pawn. I can threaten to keep this guy chilling there and go there. You know, lots of stuff. Hey, Sales, what's up, bro? Yes, but it's an authorized account. They all get their rating back, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, this is obviously completely winning. Okay, so they allow me just to take this pawn. I think I will probably just take the pawn. I could have obviously pinned this too, but I didn't see it definitely ending up as a free piece, but really, really hard for them to play here. They may think that they're going to be able to pull this off on time, but it's very unlikely to happen. It's a relatively straightforward position to play. As long as I'm careful and I don't somehow blunder something on a light square. So this light square bishop could be annoying if, you know, for some reason this pawn wasn't here, and if maybe they had a check like this. But if I really want to now, I can eliminate the risk straight away. I can take with a rook, but I think it's probably simplest if I just go like this, and I just take this guy, simplify, and just push my pawn, and this rook still cannot get in. I'll take this guy too first if I want to. You know, it's another free pawn. I think I will. I think I'll take another free. No, I'm not even going to take the free pawn. I think I'm just going to keep it pretty simple and push my pawn here at some stage. I might go like this. I'm gonna go like this. This is just a move, just a little added touch, just so the king is actually completely cut off to the back rank for them. Well, Snails, it was one that I had to ask for through chess.com, like an authorized account. So it probably. Alright. I could take this pawn, but then they go and they swing around and then they're potentially threatening to win my pawn. So I think I'm just going to push this once. Try to bring the king in if they try to move. They're kind of a little bit stuck. They might try to bring this around. Really, honestly, even if I lost a few pawns, I'm up 3 pawns right now. I think I find this pretty hard to mess up. We'll see. Okay, here, honestly, they want to give a check. That's okay. I'm just gonna go like this and get in. Not gonna be too concerned. Here, I'll just go there. All right, and then after this, they might give another check, and maybe I'll go this way. Now that this is kind of just guarding, no rush to do anything silly here. I'm not gonna let them collect all of my pawns. It simply will not happen. And look, I have another pass pawn, and I can leave this guy. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave this guy here. I don't really care if they leave the back rank now. I'll come in this way if I need to. Just completely winning. And you know what? Why not? Let's make it a connected pass pawns. Yep, don't even need to take it. Next move will be king there, most likely. Otherwise, this guy, like, I'm probably not playing this 100% accurately, but I do not see how I lose this. I did actually potentially blunder a pawn, but I think it'll be fine. Yeah, that's why. But I'll push this guy now. And we'll see what they do. If they go here, this will be a big boo-boo, depending on what happens. They have to get in front of it, honestly, and then I just bring in the king in. Bring in the king, do what I gotta do. Wait, that was actually impossible for them to stop. I don't know why I didn't just... So I'm moving a little too quickly here, but I am kind of low on time, so... This is obviously winning too, but here at least they have this. And then most likely they're going to blunder the rook, I think. We'll see. If they go here, I go here and collect it. This might happen. Yep. Okay. That's why I left this pawn there and didn't push it yet either. I wanted to use it as something to anchor my rook to. So here, you obviously got to be careful of stalemates, but no matter where they move their king now, they're going to have the back 2 ranks to do stuff. And I'll simply push a pawn and, ladder checkmate most likely. Nothing crazy over here. It's going to cut this king off. Can't do anything, and push, 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 push. And that should be hopefully easy enough to understand why I could pre-move that. And then I'm simply going to give a check. I'm going to make sure everything is a check here. Queen has to be on this side of it, of course. If it was the other way around, maybe I would blunder it in the end, like if the rook and the queen was reversed. But here, just a checkmate 1. And that's that. They played quite well, though, for their rating. They did lose 36 elos. I'm not sure how often they play. It's funny, some people with old accounts, they're losing a lot of rating in a rapid game. All right. Apparently I blundered into a draw at some stage, and I think I know about whereabouts, but let's just see what happened. So I played this the same way I played it in the last one. There, even though, oh no, I thought it was 97 here. It was knight f6. Oh yeah, 97. I guess all knight f6 is, I suppose, the idea, just attacking the pawn straight away. Anyway, either way, I just decided to see how, at a slightly higher rating, somebody was going to handle it. If I played the exact same thing as the last Caro, where we had this similar opening, but this person went h3 first. All right, just develop the pieces. This is not an endgame I'm always comfortable playing against some high-rated players. It could end up being better for white. Like, they do have the semi-open file already, and they have pressure with the bishops and stuff, so it's not necessarily the greatest thing to go into, but it's a good example of some ideas of what you would want to do here. Apparently that wasn't great. Yeah, I should have gone here straight away. Probably. Didn't really consider that. And you can see I'm kind of moving some pieces too many times. Like, there I was happy to trade. And then you have to develop your pieces. Like, sometimes people might just start shuffling already. I did shuffle one of the knights a lot of times, but it was only because I wasn't sure where to develop the other pieces yet. So computer doesn't even think it's bad that I'm going from, e7 to g6. But had there been a better square for the bishop without blundering the pawn on g7, I would have likely not moved that knight yet again. And same thing with this. Here, I initially did consider going to c5, but I thought I don't want to risk it. I don't want to have to overly calculate. Let me just play safe and get my development complete first. So that's what g6 was. Give myself a square for the bishop. I didn't want to bring the bishop to a different diagonal. This to me is the most active diagonal if it gets opened up. And mind you, I'm not sure if taking the knight was great, but I figured it'd be fine. Yes, here they walked into one of the reasons I also played g6, which was to allow myself to have this capture in the end with the extra protection from this second pawn. So if I didn't have this pawn over here, they'd actually be winning the pawn. So even though they have two bishops, you can see this is already switched to being okay, a little bit better for black. All right, I take this, it just damages their structure a little bit. Apply pressure to the bishop. Yes, here, okay for them. As soon as they go rook d6, it does basically force some trade because this is forking the rook and the bishop. Takes, takes. So had they taken this, I think was maybe slightly better for them. Plans in a position like this, I mean, obviously still much better for black, but plans here is just, I just have to be careful. The only thing really is if somehow they, get the bishop to the base of my chain over here and somehow collect some of my pawns, and, if they try to kind of get around this way, gotta be a little cautious, but I think gonna be too hard. If I just keep to the dark squares, if I really need to, I push this on a dark square. If my knight is over here maybe, or something, I, trade off some of the pawns, trade off some of the weaknesses for me. Try to make a pass pawn, same ideas, really. So yes, I just trade. They took the pawn, but it gives me another target because immediately after knight c5, just win a pawn. And here as well, could have taken the other pawn, but oh my lord, I blundered a tactic. It's so funny. I was talking about these tactics. You always got to be careful. I actually missed this idea, but it basically only blunders into something that's slightly better for white. Too funny. So if I chose to take, and then they take back, this is actually them winning a rook. The reason why it's still only slightly better for white, I could definitely still blunder this though, is because these pawns are probably not going to make it to promote. This pawn I can hopefully trade off one of these guys. And I still have some threats of myself, but this would have been a really interesting endgame to end up playing. I would have been pretty impressed if they found that tactic, actually. Maybe I should have been a little bit more cautious. Had they taken that, though, maybe I would have done something else. I'm not sure. I guess there's this and then this again. And then just push. Yeah, so maybe I would have realized pretty quickly, and I may not have taken it. Jeez, what a blunder by me. Wow. Anyway, it's all gravy. There, yes. Like I said in the game, I could take the pawn, but I figured I'd just simplify. It's just trading pawns. So I probably should have, before I went there, I should have brought the king over. I think just one square. And they have this, but I would have gone there straight away anyway, most likely. Yeah, if after en croissant. The reason being is that I did let them potentially win the pawn, but still, it is gone. It is gone this game pretty much because it's hard for them to stop all the threats. Something is pushing. I did actually miss that I could have, here I could have actually pushed, I believe. Because after this, they actually can't stop the pawn. Because I just can push. And if you might be asking yourself, but of course they can stop the pawn, right? Well, they can't because, sorry, over here, if I had pushed here, they can't stop it because this doesn't allow them to get behind it. That's what I missed and kind of realized straight away, but it was still kind of lost. And I allowed them to think that they were winning a different pawn, which is why I took that, because of this simple threat. So cooked, and we get a nice little win. And this is, something that's a good thing to notice for if you have to pre-move if you're low on time. Cut the king off, push the pawns. Like this is, you can do this without thinking over here. You just know that the king can never come closer. And there, yes, checkmate.